growing pomegranate plants in pots in East TN. The air in the valleys of East Tennessee has a way of testing a person's patience. One day you're sitting on the back deck soaking up a brilliant, humid southern sun, and the next, old Rocky Top decides to throw a rogue freeze warning right across the ridges. It's a climate that teaches you to work with the land rather than fight it. And that is exactly how this little experiment started. About 10 months ago, a handful of small pomegranate starters found their way onto the property. Most folks around here shook their heads. They'll tell you pomegranates belong in the sandy, sun-baked soil of the Mediterranean or the predictable heat of Southern California, not nestled into the rolling hills of the Appalachian region. And to be fair, they had a point. If you stick a delicate, exotic root system straight into the heavy, stubborn red clay of East Tennessee, you're usually signing its death warrant. But instead of fighting the soil, the secret was simply to bypass it. The little trees went straight into small, portable containers, a mix of black square and round starter pots filled with a rich, perfectly loose, well-draining potting mix. On the deck, they caught every ounce of the intense midday sun. Pomegranates love humidity, and if there's one thing a Tennessee summer has to offer, it's thick, warm air. As the weeks ticked by, the small plants began to transform. By the time they hit that 10-month to a year milestone, something incredible happened. The fragile, thin little whips started hardening off. Down at the base of the stems, the bright green began giving way to a sturdy, resilient woodiness. Up top, a dense canopy of vibrant, glossy green leaves unfolded, catching the light like polished jade as they sat out on the dark plastic shelving of the deck layout. Looking at them now in the video file 1000030820.mp4, you wouldn't even know they were hundreds of miles away from their native climate. They look right at home. Of course, the real test of any backwoods gardening experiment isn't the summer, it's the unpredictable winter. When the autumn leaves finally drop and the deep, biting frost rolls into the valley, these starters won't be left out to fend for themselves. Because they were kept small and portable, the ultimate insurance policy is already waiting for them. When the freezing weather hits, the whole tray will be lifted up and carried straight into the greenhouse. Tucked safely away from the harsh Appalachian winds, they'll go dormant under the protected glass, resting up and building their strength. And when the spring thaw finally arrives next year, these little Mediterranean survivors will be ready to explode with a whole new season of growth.